tuning in. You are listening to Conversations with a Citizen.
This is Conversations with a Citizen. I am your host, Tia Carol Jones. I am here today with Karli Butler. Karli is an inspirational speaker who talks about her journey through life.
Hi.
Hey, welcome to the show.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for being here. I'm so glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am I'm an Evanstonian. I am 38 years old, just trying to live my best life all the time, especially during this pandemic. And I've been through a few things, and so I'm really grateful.
Okay. Why did you want to share your journey with other people?
Well, some of it was me kind of being forced to share a little bit of what happened to me. I mean, it was very public, and I can't hide, I wear my past on my skin.
Mm-hmm.
And so initially when this happened to me, it was visible for the world to see.
Right.
And so as much as I hated sharing what happened to me, it was very empowering. And I didn't know that it was actually encouraging to other people. And so I found comfort and peace in being able to share on my own terms. And it just became a part of my life.
Okay. What or who inspires you?
What or who inspires me? I've been finding inspiration in like the most unlikely places lately. I'm especially inspired by people who are walking firmly in their purpose.
Okay.
And sometimes that looks like, they're having all these great successes, but it's like they're doing what they're meant to be doing. And so I'm like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. That's I want to be doing that all the time. And you can just feel their excitement. So yes, people who are walking in their purpose and just living their best life.
How did you gain the confidence to share your story?
Ooh, so I think the older I get, the more I reflect on this. I feel like over time, like as my life improved, I was able to feel more comfortable about what happened to me and know that I was not what happened to me. If that makes sense. And so, it just being able to move forward in my life gave me the confidence to share about my past.
Where did your resilience and your ability to thrive come from?
Well, this is a really great question because I don't know if you're familiar with the ACEs study around childhood trauma.
No.
Okay, you can actually go online and there's a checklist of things that you can check off that you've been through, right?
Okay.
And the higher your ACEs score, the more likely you are to, die earlier, have all these health issues. It's all based on trauma.
Okay.
And so I just lost my thought. I'm sorry, say that again. Ask me the question.
We were talking about
my resilience.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, so hearing it. So the reason why I shared that with you is because as much as we have all of these things stacked against us based on our trauma history, there are also resilience factors, right? So you have to consider your family structure, your support of family and friends, whether or not you seek mental health services and all those things. So I feel like my resilience came from my faith in God, my very loving and supportive circle of family and friends, just like I think honestly my will to just live. I wanted to just live my life and really take advantage of this one shot and knowing that things will always get better.
Why is it important for you to have played a role in passing Illinois House Bill 2193?
So the way that happened was I met another acid burn survivor, and in both of our situations, it was really easy and accessible, the acid. And so it's something so tiny that can do so much damage. And so when you look at acid burn survivors around the world, the product is just cheap and easy to get.
Right.
And so we thought that if we could just do one thing that was a preventative measure to help somebody else, then it would be worth it, right? And we got a lot of resistance for that. But I feel good knowing that if Joe Schmo goes into a hardware store to buy acid because they're mad at their ex-girlfriend or whoever and wants to do something to them, that at least it's documented where they got it from. So just something to help me sleep at night.
What made you want to create burnbeauty.com?
So that came from just me kind of sharing my journey. It just naturally kind of came. You know, I did not know that this was going to be my life.
Okay.
and despite all of it, I wouldn't change a thing.
Okay.
And so it was just an opportunity for me to share just some of my work and just some of the stories.
I've read it, and it's really inspirational.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for that.
Thank you.
How do you hope people respond to you sharing your story?
I hope that there's a positive reaction, you know, obviously. I hope that people, I never want to compare my journey or my pain or what I've been through to anybody else's, right? Because we're all going through something.
Right.
The only difference is you can kind of see what I've been through.
Right.
So I just hope that people find inspiration and encouragement and just knowing that joy comes in the morning. Because I was not always in this space. You know, things were bad and dark and scary and raw, and you know, I was gravely injured. And so I think people are sometimes shocked when they see where I was and how far I've come. Like, that's the journey, right? And so I want people to see that evolution.
So talk to me about your restorative justice training and the ways you use what you learned.
So I became really interested in restorative justice after going through the court process, right? After going to court and having to face my attacker, Nicole, as badly as I wanted her to be held accountable for what happened to me, I also did not feel good when she was locked up, right? Going to court gave me an opportunity to see her family. And so it was like, it humanized her. And I'm like, something happened there, right? Something went very wrong for her to harm me the way that she did, not knowing me. And so I kept thinking, like, there's got to be a better way. And so our justice system is not rehabilitative, as you know. And so I kept thinking, like, is she going to get mental health services? Like, is she going to get the care that she needs to really come out of this and be healthy and whole and productive and be able to be part of her family's life? And so that led me to learn about restorative justice. You know, it's a philosophy where you the person who's been harmed and the person who's caused the harm come together and try to repair the harm. And so there's an agreement for what happens and what the outcome will be. And we don't have that opportunity in the state of Illinois, unfortunately. So even if, say, she was sorry, she would never be able to say that to me because her attorney would advise against it. And so if there was an opportunity for someone who hurt somebody else to do that, imagine how powerful that could be, you know, while going through the whole justice process, which is terrible, by the way. It's like somebody being like, you know, I'm really sorry. And so, yeah, now I look at things so differently. Like, even though I was upset about what she did to me, I think about my worst moments. And if I did something to somebody else, wouldn't I want them to forgive me? Or wouldn't I want another chance? And so that's kind of how I live my life. And so I you know, and I think about her. Like, I shared in 2015, I wrote her a letter just telling her that I forgive her and I hope that she sees better days. And I never got a response. And that's fine. I just wanted to kind of plant the seed. But I do hope that she is well. You know, I hope that she's living her life.
And can you talk a little bit about what happened?
Oh, yes. So in 2006, I was actually attacked twice. Once on March 15th, I was living in the South Loop. And when I had left my apartment in my condo building, went down to the parking garage, I was attacked by a group of guys in the parking garage, and they beat me up. They stuffed me into the trunk of my car. But thank God, and I think I had the wherewithal to jump out of the trunk. So I knew, when he beat me up and stuffed me back into the trunk, right, he turned the music up really loud so nobody would hear me screaming, and I could see the other car pull behind my car. And when I popped that trunk, I tried to hold it closed so I could see them, and I just counted the revolutions down the ramp, right? So I counted 4 every time we hit that corner. And as soon as I saw the light, I jumped out the trunk. The other car almost ran me over, but I got away. And so that was the first blessing, right? And I escaped that fortunately with more emotional injuries than physical ones, because the acid that he threw on me that time had burned mostly through my winter clothes. So a little bit of time went by, and I guess they weren't satisfied that they hadn't gotten me. And so I had been visiting a cousin up in Skokie, and when I left her home that evening and walked to my car, I saw 2 women kind of walking near my car, and they asked for directions. It was just all very strange. When you get that little feeling something's wrong. And I thought, okay, let me try to get to my car. At least I could pull off or run them over. And so I made it to my car, and I made it inside. But one of the women had a gun, right? And she was trying to get the gun in the car door, and she eventually got it in, and she put the gun in my face. She said, "Do it again, bitch, and I'll shoot you." So I put my hands up, and I was like, "Take my purse, whatever." And then out of nowhere, I felt a splash in my face. You can see where the acid ran down my face. Then I felt another splash in my stomach, and it burned so badly that it's like time stopped. I kicked the car door open. Whatever clothes were not melting off my body, I was ripping them off. So I ran back to my cousin's with no clothes on, right? And I'm screaming for help. And I knew something was wrong because the neighbors were like, "Oh my God." Meanwhile, I'm like, "Help." So I ended up sustaining 3rd-degree full thickness burns from that acid attack. And that would change really the course of my life. And so there was one person who was held accountable for those things, and that was Nicole.
Thank you for sharing. Where can people go to find out more about you?
You can go you can follow me on Instagram at Karli Speaks. You can go to my website, burnedbeauty.com. You can find me on Facebook. I'm all in the social media world. I'm just trying to live my life. It's I don't feel like I'm doing anything special right now.
I think you don't think so, but you are.
Thank you. It just feels like, my darkest hours, I'm like, come on, God, what you want me to do with this? What do I do? What am I gonna do? Who's gonna love me? How do I move forward? He's like, just keep going, keep living, keep laughing. I'm trying to tell you to get better. And I held on to that, and fortunately, it's all worked out.
Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I'm always really grateful for opportunities like this because I feel like it helps me to walk in my purpose, and it's confirmation that I'm doing the right thing by telling my story. So I want to thank you all for giving me this opportunity and for the platform. I appreciate you.
No, you're so welcome. Thank you.
Remember to make plans to join us again next week for Conversations with the Citizen, the place where real news can be heard.